Welcome to SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star Sports Podcast. I'm Blair Kirchhoff. Today's show comes to you from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, home of baseball's 94th All-Star Game that was played this week. Royals beat writer Jaylon Thompson found some time after the American League's victory to discuss the boys in blue. We talked about the game, a game in which 4 Royals participated. That's the most since 2016. Pitchers Cole Ragans and Seth Lugo each threw an inning, and Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr. each played the game's final 3 frames. It was quite a weekend for Witt, who a day earlier reached the final of the Home Run Derby. We also talked about the recent MLB draft and potential star in first pick Florida slugger Jac Caglianone. We talk about the acquisition of relief pitcher Hunter Harvey and what to expect from the Royals in the second half of this, so far, unexpectedly good season. Okay, let's get started talking with Jaylon Thompson. We're in Globe Life Stadium, and you might be able to hear the trash blowers in the background. It's the noise cleaning up the stadium after the 94th All-Star Game, won by the American League 5-3 over the National League. And Jaylon Thompson, who covers the Royals for the Kansas City Star, and myself, we're here to watch 4 Royals play in this game and make contributions to the victory. And Jaylon, let's start by, I want to ask you what your impressions were of your first All-Star. It's not really a weekend because it's Monday, Tuesday, really Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. What were your overall impressions of the All-Star Game? And Bobby Witt seemed to like it, some of the Royals players. How about yourself?
I loved it. I think that it was a great time to showcase the Kansas City Royals on a national level. You saw it in multiple phases all throughout these weekend and in the beginning of this week. Bobby Witt Jr., he is a national star now. He earned that right with his performance in the Home Run Derby. Came oh so close to getting it tied up and potentially winning it. Seth Lugo showed his inspirational story coming from a reliever to a starter again, earning his first All-Star nomination and appearance at 34 years old, which is not really unheard of, but it's really rare. So good to see him do that. Salvador Perez continues to keep ticking. You wrote a story about his Hall of Fame case. Having 9 All-Star appearances is a good way to put him on that path. And then, of course, we can't forget about Cole Ragans, who has come in and shown that he's one of the best young lefties in the game right now.
You touched on something that I think is absolutely true, that 4 All-Star representatives for the Royals, the most they've had since 2016 when they were still in the afterglow of the 2015 World Series title. I think it was a comment on not only how well the Royals are playing, but how they're viewed in the American League. They've got good players. This wasn't a year where they just had to take the obligatory one person from the bad team. They had 4 guys that earned their way to the All-Star game. And like I said, they all made some contributions. Ragans and Lugo pitched the 6th and the 7th inning, did not give up a run. In fact, all the scoring was done in the first 5 innings. So by the time the Royals took the field, there wasn't going to be any more scoring in the game. But Cole Ragans told us after the game just how comfortable he was when he took the field in the 6th inning, seeing Bobby Witt go out at shortstop and Salvador Perez standing in front of him in the catcher. Ragans' first All-Star appearance, and he's around some teammates, which I think had to help him, and Seth Lugo, who was also making his first All-Star appearance.
You know what it felt like? It kind of felt like the reintroduction of the Kansas City Royals to the national media, to the limelight. Like you said, they all came in at the same time. You were able to see them as almost a united front coming in and showcasing like, hey, we're here and we intend to stay here. And I think that's what you kind of saw throughout this entire week. We mentioned Bobby in the Home Run Derby, but really you see Seth Lugo get his trademark, give him a couple hits, but then gets out of it because he pitches around it. See Cole Ragans lighting up the radar gun with his pitches and, really showing that the command that he has. And, of course, Salvy's just enjoying it. At the end of the game, who do they go to? Salvador Perez to talk
for the on-field
interview. Why? Because he's so infectious in his ability and everything. So I just think that the Royals show that, hey, we're not the same old Royals as last year. We're not the same old Royals as 9 years ago when we last made the playoffs. We're different, and they proved that throughout this entire break.
You mentioned Salvi being the player that Ken Rosenthal from Fox Sports went to. I think things like that are going to help Salvi's Hall of Fame case down the road, his cooperation with the media. That was, as you mentioned, that was a story that I had written from down here at the All-Star Game. Hey, I want to go back to the Home Run Derby on Monday, and Bobby Witt Jr. Involved in that, one of the 8 participants in the event. They filled Globe Life Field for that, and I wasn't sure how he was going to do. He entered that event with the second fewest home run totals of anybody in the competition, and darn if he didn't make the finals. And as you said, dramatically fell to Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers, trailing Hernandez by 1 home run. Bobby Witt hits a ball off halfway up the left center field wall, closer to center field. And if that ball goes 4 feet higher, it's a tie match, and he goes, then he has a chance to win it basically in the bonus period. So how much fun was it for you to watch the Home Run Derby and to see Bobby Witt do what he did?
It was fun because growing up, I watched the Home Run Derby every year on television. And, to see it live and to see just the grandeur of it was something that, I will always cherish in my first All-Star game. And just to see a young star like Bobby Witt Jr. really step up on the national stage and announce himself as here and present. I talked to his family after the Home Run Derby, and they were basically excited. They were shocked that, he almost tied it up. They were really crestfallen that it was so close, but they were so proud of him. His mom talked about how you heard the Bobby chants, and she was there in 2018. She was sitting when he won the high school home run derby against Reese Hines, who just made his debut with Cincinnati Reds. And she's like, that just brought me back to that time of just like hearing his name and really just, she felt touched that her son was on a national stage and was so adored and beloved. And I think that's the key takeaway here is that a star was born in his hometown, and you can't write something like that. You can only live it, and that's what we had these past couple of days.
One of my takeaways from it was, as if we didn't know by watching him play for the Royals here in his 3rd year, that he definitely has the clutch gene, right? Mm-hmm. He came up to the plate knowing what he needed to do to chase Hernandez in the final, and almost pulled it off. And so when the Royals find themselves in pressure situations on the field, and I think that's going to happen in the second half of the season. I think he's the type of guy who, we haven't seen it yet because he hasn't played on a team that's had success, but now he is. I think he's going to be the type of guy that comes through for them in the clutch down the stretch, and that's going to be fun to see.
I agree. If you know Bobby, on his glove, he has the word simple. And it applies to just his approach at the plate, in the field, and really in life. Keeping everything simple, staying level-headed. And like you said, I think that when the moments get tough and it gets tight and playoff games start to matter and you're trying to fight for seeding and the crowds are rocking at the K or wherever they may be, you got to have a guy that can calm down and focus in those moments. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is that guy.
Okay, let's we got a few more topics to talk about with the Royals. All-Star game is behind us, and it's on to the second half of the season. But even before we talk about that, it's been a pretty active, few days for the Royals and for all teams, really, because of the draft. They do the draft now around the All-Star game. They used to do it during the College World Series, which was a pain in the butt for a lot of people. But it's later now, and the Royals had the number 6 overall pick. And they take a slugger from Florida, Jac Caglianone. Am I pronouncing that right? You get a chance to talk to him on a conference call the other day. The guy looks like a beast. His stats read like a beast. And tell us about Jac Caglianone. University of Florida, by the way.
Jac Caglianone is a guy that can mash. And when you think of home run derby, we just saw it. I can envision him in being in a home run derby. This guy set a record at the University of Florida, 75 home runs in his collegiate career. He had 35 home runs last year. I mean, he's a slugger, and he's going to get a chance to be a two-way player, which he often gets compared to Shohei Ohtani. And I'm not saying that in terms of just the talent, but just because he's a two-way player. And the Royals are going to give him a shot. He's a lefty, had a 4.76 ERA with the Gators last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he'll stick as a two-way player, but, I mean, early on, it doesn't hurt to give a 21-year-old a shot to see if he wants to pursue that. But the bat, if it comes around at the pro level, is something that can skyrocket him up the minor league system and possibly into Kansas City in the next year or two, depending on how the Royals want to fast track it, because he can hit bombs. If you don't know, I'll tell you this. This past year, he had 9 home runs in consecutive games. So he was just hitting home runs left and right for 9 consecutive games. And I think that that's special. And I think the Royals got a good one. A steal, I would say.
I watched his highlight tape on YouTube, and he hits home runs like golfers hit golf balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just go forever, and it's amazing to see some of his prodigious shots. Now the Royals, you also talked to Royals front office people. Mm-hmm. They said they will give him a chance to pitch a little bit and at least start when he starts his professional career.
Yeah, so we talked to Royals general manager J.J. Piccolo after the first round of the draft, and he said that he's not sure if he will pitch the remaining of the summer because, it's a long layoff and, as a pitcher, you need to ramp back up and things like that. But if you want to give him a shot, they do want to see how it will work. And Caglianone, he said it himself, he feels he's prepared mentally and physically to handle both of it. It just depends on how the Royals want to see fit. But they announced him as a two-way player, so I'm assuming that they're going to give him a shot to fulfill that.
Now, he plays first base, and he pitches, of mm-hmm. course, and plays first base. It doesn't look like there is position flexibility beyond those two for him. The Royals have a first baseman and really,
a designated hitter.
And a DH, right. They like what they have there. Is this an issue that will be addressed, you think, immediately, or they're going to wait for him to develop and see if they have a nice problem to have in a couple of years with a prospect like Caglianone and an established player like Vinny Pasquantino?
This guy was a top 3 prospect available in this draft class. He dropped to 6. So when you get a talent like that, you almost have to just let it play out and see where it goes. We don't know what the Royals are going to be or look like in the next couple of years. And if you can get that bat in the lineup, Royals manager Matt Cottrell, he says it all the time. If you can produce, you're going to get in the lineup. I mean, we've kind of seen that this year with Freddie Fermin as catcher. He hits all the time, and the Royals find a way to put him in the lineup. So I think the same thing will happen if Caglianone comes up here and he performs well and he's hitting home runs. They'll find somewhere to put him. So I think that they'll work that out.
All right, so he was one of 20 draft picks. The Royals actually traded one of their picks, right? The number 39 overall, plus a prospect, and in return got a relief pitcher from the Washington Nationals, Hunter Harvey. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hunter Henry's a football player.
Yes, yes, he is. So what do the Royals get in this hard-throwing relief pitcher?
They got someone that can step into a setup role and just throw strikes. Talking about high velocity, around 96, 97, maybe touching 100 miles per hour. Someone that can, be there and get those strikeouts where they needed it. Because we watch a lot of the Royals games, and when it's close and the offense may not be producing where it should be, or it's a 3-2 game, they really don't have no one that can come in late in the game and get somebody out. Now they have someone that can do that and throw strikes, and they've been searching for that. You've seen it with the additions of Walter Pennington coming up, or you had a Will Klein coming up. These young guys are just trying to see who they have down there in the bullpen. And I know it stings, as J.J. Piccolo says, to give up a guy like Caden Wallace, who was your number 2 prospect per MLB.com. But in this day and age where it's a seller's market and teams feel like they could potentially still be in the playoff hunt, you have to go and get someone that can be a difference maker. And you look at what Hunter Harvey brings to the table. He has some more years left that they'll have him beyond this year. So I think that kind of played into why they had to give up a good prospect like Caden Wallace and give up that draft selection in the competitive balance round A. But for the team to win now, that's what they needed. And if you talk to Brian Bridges, the Royal scouting director, he was all on board with trading the competitive balance pick because he's like, you're helping the major league team. And that's the most important thing.
Harvey, 2-4 with a 4.20 ERA. He's got 50 strikeouts and 12 walks in 45 innings pitched this year.
And that ERA, you got to look at. He had a couple of bad starts in June or outings in June, so it kind of inflated it. But he's a solid.
Where do they slot him? Is he? You said setup guy. He has closed.
Yes,
he's got 10 saves in his career, I think. But you see him more as a setup, and MacArthur's still the closer.
Yeah, they like what they have in MacArthur down there, and I know it can be somewhat of a roller coaster seeing MacArthur come up and down and see if he's going to hold it, but he's really growing into that role as a closer. And, I think the Royals, they need someone that can help bridge the gap because at a certain point in time, you're going with John Schreiber and Chris Stratton, and we've seen how that can be if they're used more and more. It doesn't always turn out in the Royals' favor. So having someone else, a fresh arm to go down there in the bullpen would be great to kind of bridge that gap. Maybe it takes over the 8th inning. Maybe it takes the 7th inning. We'll see. But I also want to throw out, I like what they're doing with Chris Bubic, too. I mean, it's kind of been going under the radar, but he's come back and he's looked great in the bullpen. And I think that he could be a real weapon for them as they continue to give him more innings and opportunities.
So 2 important pieces at a bullpen that's been just inconsistent, I think, is a nice way of putting it. They're 4.26 ERA. It's 21st in baseball. You really would hate to see a starting rotation this good not have the full support of a bullpen, a stronger bullpen. Yeah. And listen, nobody's claiming that this is going to be the 2014 and 2015 Royals, the HDH, and that magical group. But a little improvement could go a long way, I think, with this bullpen.
Yeah, and they don't have to be HDH. They don't have to be. That's a once in a lifetime type of rotation that you had in the bullpen. What these guys have to do is they have to be, like you said, more consistent. They have to come in each and every day, and when the starters give them up a chance to win the game, whether it's with a lead or within one run, they got to hold it. And the Royals starters have done that all year. I mean, of course, everyone has a couple of bad starts. You saw that out of Seth Lugo and Ray Singer in Boston. Yeah. Those were key games you had to win. But you chalk that up to maybe that's a abnormality than what it is right now. But you have to have someone that can go 6, 7, 8, 9, has to be lights out. And maybe getting Hunter Harvey will be someone that can take care of one of those innings. And then that's less you have to worry about. And I won't be surprised if the Royals are not done yet because they still need another bat in that lineup to help take the pressure off of Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino. Because you get past those 3 in the lineup, it's pretty easy to navigate if you're an opposing team. So, I mean, maybe it's a combination of having Hunter Renfroe come back alive in the second half of the year, start hitting the home runs that we're accustomed to seeing from him. Is MJ Melendez going to start picking it up? Maybe you need some envision he's playing the Boston Red Sox every single game.
Right.
It might work out.
It's amazing his success against the Red Sox.
It's amazing. I mean, but yeah, the Royals, they're in a good spot. 2 games back of the Red Sox in the wild card. As I believe 6 or 7 games behind the Guardians in the Central. They're in it. And when's the last time you could say that the Royals are in it when Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and that team across the street in the Kansas City Chiefs are getting ready to go to training camp?
It's that's exactly right. You've hit on the timing perfectly because the last time the Royals were in it this deep into the season was 2017. Patrick Mahomes, that's his rookie year with the Chiefs, but he didn't play, right? Mm-hmm. That was the Alex Smith season, final season with the Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes was with the Chiefs. He wasn't the starter. The magic really started the following year with the Chiefs, and the Royals just fell off the cliff in 2018.
Yeah.
And just been some really lean years.
I tell you what, Blair, it's kind of like this. You go to the dance, and you're there, and you're having a good time. You might as well enjoy it. The Royals, for the longest of time, have been sitting on the sidelines at the dance. And been watching the Guardians go and dance with the prettiest girl there. You've seen the White Sox have that chance to do that as well.
Twins have
done that. Yep. Now the Royals are on the dance floor. They might as well, see what they can do and enjoy it all. bust a move, as the kids would say, And I think that's what they're going to do this year.
Well, you touched on it. You don't think the Royals are done wheeling and dealing, and I've heard J.J. Piccolo say as much, that they're, they'll make a move if they feel there's a move to be made here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. The Royals are 52-45. They spent most of the last, pre-All-Star break in the playoff picture. Mm-hmm. As a wild card team, they are outside the playoff picture right now. They're battling with Boston, Minnesota. The Astros are coming on strong. Yeah. The AL West winner plus the Guardians and then the Yankees and the Orioles are in a dogfight for first. There are plenty of teams that the Royals are going to have to contend with going down the stretch here. Listen, at one point the Royals were 15 games above 500. Now they're 7.
Yeah.
Are you? How do you feel about where they are, where they stand, and we got to talk to Bobby Witt after tonight's All-Star game. He feels really confident about the direction of the team, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little, uncertain. A team that was hot, like I said, got up to 15 games above 500, now stands at 7. They can't seem to break through that 7, 8, 9 games over 500 over the last few weeks. So
they're in a good spot coming back home.
All right, so you're
Friday.
more confident than me.
Yes. We got the White Sox coming in for a 3-game series. We had the Arizona Diamondbacks after that.
And then the Cubs.
Those
winnable
series. You can win those series, and I believe all those teams are at home, right? I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
So you have a long stretch of games where you can see if you can win at home. And if the Kansas City Royals have proven they can win at home.
They are a good home team. That's a change for them. They are they especially hit the ball well at Kauffman Stadium. I think you're right. I think this is a home stand, a 9-game home stand where they at the worst 6-3, and then thinking maybe 7-2 and get back to double digits over 500. Yeah. And let's see where they go from there.
And isn't it funny we're talking about a Royals team maybe running out of gas at 52-45? Last year they won 56 games. We gotta take it out of perspective. Right. They are way ahead of.
Sometime next week they're gonna get to that total.
They're gonna master a win total from last year.
Right.
I said it this offseason. It would be a bold prediction if they won 80 games, and it was like they're gonna go past that. This could be an 85-win team. This could, if things break right, it might be a 90-win team. And when have you seen a team that was so bad last year, winning 56 games, turn it around?
No, there hasn't been. I mean, it would be historic in terms of to have lost 106 games and turn around and just to be at 500, maybe even a little over 500, would be close to historic.
And I say this right here. I know what Stephen Vogt is doing with the Cleveland Guardians in his first year at the helm, but Matt Quatrell deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with the pieces that NJ Defoe, bringing in those pieces, Seth, Lugo, Michael Walker, you guys know the veterans. You're talking about a potential 40-win increase.
Yep. No, that's right. It would be absolutely incredible. Long ways to go, but it should be a fun ride with the Royals in the second half of the season. It's a late second half.
Yeah.
The All-Star game happened late this year, so it's not. We're long since the halfway point of the season. Still, it should be a lot of fun with this Royals team. You'll cover just about every game. You'll be at the homestand, and glad you had fun here at the All-Star game. And there'll be many more in it for you down the road. Jaylon, I really enjoyed spending a few days with you down here in Dallas at this and then SEC Media Days.
Yeah.
But that was cool.
Thanks for coming, too. I enjoyed it, too.
I'll see you back in Kansas City.
That's right. Can't wait.
That will do it for today. Thanks to producer Monty Davis for putting together the show and to our SportsBeat KC production staff of Randy Mason, Jeff Rosen, and Scott Chasen. Tip of the All-Star cap to Royals beat writer Jaylon Thompson for sharing his thoughts. Let us know what you thought of the show by leaving a rating and review. And thanks for sharing your time with us. We'll be back soon with another SportsBeat KC where we talk sports in and around Kansas City.